from New York, the memo instructed Tea Party protesters on how to artificially inflate their numbers. Spread out in the hall, the rep should be made to feel that a majority, if not a significant portion, of at least the audience opposes the socialist agenda of Washington. How exactly to do that? Yell. The goal is to rattle him, stand up and shout out, and sit right back down. Our fifth story in the countdown, the Republican Party going back to the drawing board, returning to the town halls, the same fake populism and overhyped histrionics it relied upon in its misguided attempt to misinform the American public about health care reform during the dog days of summer. But those Republicans have apparently decided they can be self-town halling, no Democrats required. The folks at Politico.com reporting that the GOP is trying to resurrect the angry town halls of August. Senator Alexander saying that Republicans are quietly planning about 50 gatherings, some to be held in person, some by telephone, to drum up opposition to Democratic health care bills. Question: if the town halls of July and August were held by Democrats, AstroTurf groups having instructed protesters on how to harass Democratic members of Congress, thereby creating only the impression of mass public opposition to health care reform, and the town halls of November will be held by Republicans, won't the GOP merely be organizing opposition to itself? The geniuses who run the Republican Party not merely wishing, but inviting this kind of lunacy upon themselves.
I have never seen my America turn into what it has turned into. I'm scared.
No more lies! No more lies! You work for us! You work for us!
There is a man in the crowd who has a gun, a handgun strapped on his lower leg.
To restore this country back to what our founders created according to the Constitution.
How dare you claim that I'm part of a conspiracy?
They're going to give free health care to all illegal aliens. They're going to give us classes on euthanasia.
You think the Obama plan would kill you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Why do you continue to support a Nazi policy, as Obama has?
Please hear this voice of the disabled.
And I want to say that I'm a proud right-wing terrorist.
And don't forget the youth in Asia. Meanwhile, Senator Jim Waterloo DeMint offering a helpful reminder that no Republican intends to vote for the final bill no matter what is in it. The South Carolina Republican telling a conservative radio talk show host that even health care reform without a public option is something he believes needs to be defeated.
They may pass something that's much more benign, that doesn't have a government-run plan in it, and they say they fixed it. The problem is that bill will meet Nancy Pelosi in a conference where they really rewrite the whole bill. We can't let anything pass in the Senate, otherwise we're going to create a monster.
Time now to call in our own Howard Feynman, senior Washington correspondent for Newsweek magazine. Howard, good evening.
Hi, Keith.
Senator DeMint also analyzed the Republicans' chances of doing what he wants done in that interview. It'll be a chess game, but I think we've got a better than 50-50 chance to stop this thing before Christmas. Did he just admit that killing reform, any reform, has always been the only intended outcome, not bipartisanship, not Republican input, not even a Republican alternative to the Democratic bill?
Well, Keith, I think he admitted it, but it's something that everybody, I think, pretty much already knew. I think in the Senate and the House, but I think perhaps especially in this Senate, with the possible exception of Olympia Snowe, remember her, they were going to be against this whatever. Mitch McConnell, the leader, has made that clear. Jim DeMint and others have made it clear. Now it's on the table. That's what these meetings coming up this winter are about. They're going to try to kill the thing if they possibly can, delay it as long as they possibly can, asphyxiate it if they can.
About these meetings, the sort of round two of town halls, in July and in August, that strategy made some sense, at least from a media perspective. Shout at, shout down the majority. But yelling amongst yourselves, how doesn't that look a little hot house atmosphere kind of thing?
Well, I'm waiting for Lamar to throw himself out of his meeting. You know, what's interesting about this is that Lamar Alexander, the senator from Tennessee, is viewed at the White House, or at least was viewed at the White House, as one of the Republicans they could talk to, as a sort of man of moderation in both style and substance and so forth. But the fact that Alexander's sending out this memo, which really wasn't all that necessary, meaning the Republicans are going to have these meetings to display the anger of their base anyway, shows that the formerly the traditional leadership of the Republican Party is being guided by, if not intimidated by, the Limbaughs, et cetera, of the world, because they're getting with the program. And sure, they're going to have these meetings and they're going to uncork the dissent and the anger in the base of the Republican Party. But it's for show and to demonstrate the opposition. That's all it's about.
But is there also something, might there be some sort of actual strategy inside this kind of Carrie Prejean tape version of a town hall meeting? I mean, Democrats have figured out how to respond to these town halls. So if you specifically don't want them there, you want them yelled at in absentia where they can't refute this stuff, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Also, frankly, one of the ways the Democrats are dealing with the town halls is not to have them because they turned into the circuses that you showed. So, yeah, right. The whole objective here is to get video. It's to get a lot of video that will be shown on some channels and not on others, displaying the anger, which is real in the base of the Republican Party and the conservatives in this country. I was talking to Republicans today. They say, frankly, you know, our people are angry and they're scared, and they didn't say to me, we want to show that off for the cameras, but that's exactly what they're going to do. That's exactly what they're going to do. And by the way, some polls show that the reform plan is just enough of a plan to get the right apoplectic and paranoid, but not enough to really inspire all of the base of the Democratic Party.
And the talking points that are designed to keep the Republican base angry and scared, even though some of them have very debatable, disprovable points in it, like it would lead to higher premiums, when of course doing nothing would lead to higher premiums. Is the protection on that? Well, our people won't believe that anyway, so we don't have to worry about it being disproved?
They're not. But the basic point is that the Republicans are not going to attempt to explain any halfway decent feature of this legislation, and there are lots and lots of them, to Republicans or independents. They're going to sit there and say nothing and let the people at these meetings speak to the cameras. That is their strategy, and that's going to happen all the way through to the end of the year.
Howard Fineman of MSNBC and Newsweek, as always, great thanks.
Thank you, Keith.